All right, so on your first graph, you're going to graph y equals x squared. Okay. All right, so if x is equal to 0, what's y going to be? 0, right? So this first one, we're starting at 0, 0. All right, so if I go out 1, what's 1 squared? 1, so I can go out to either side and go up 1. If I go out 2, 2 squared is 4, so I go up 4. If I go out 3 from my origin, what's 3 squared? 9. Okay, so everybody's parabola looks like that, right? All right, now on that same graph, using a different color, I want you to graph y equals x squared minus 3. So my lowest point is going to be when the thing being squared is 0, right? Can a squared number ever be less than 0? Can a squared number ever be less than 0? No. So I want to find the low point because that's where my vertex is, right? So if x is 0 on this new one, y is going to be negative 3. All right, so graph that using a different color on the same graph. Okay, so when we graphed that one, we started 3 lower, but it's the same shape, isn't it? So if I go over 1, I go up 1. If I go over 2, I go up 4. And if I feel like overachieving, I'll go over 3 and go up 9, right? And that'd be up here. Okay. All right. Now, here's where we're going to do something new. Now we're going to look at this one. Y equals, and then in parentheses, I have x plus 6. Okay, I'm still trying to find my low point, aren't I? And my low point is when the thing that's being squared is equal to, what did we say? The thing that I'm squaring has to equal 0, right? So what I want to make this equal to 0. So what's going to make what's in the parentheses equal 0? If x is equal to negative 6. If x equals negative 6, then what's y going to be? 0, right? So negative 6, 0 is where my low point's going to be on that graph. So I go over to negative 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the x-axis. So now what's happening to our graph? It went to the left, didn't it? Okay. So is it going to be the same shape? Is there anything in front of the x squared? No, so it's going to be the same exact shape. If I go out 1, I'm going to go up 1. If I go out 2, I'm going to go up 4. Okay? All right, let's take a look at another one. So now we're going to go to a new graph, okay? Now we're going to go to a new graph. So the first one we're going to graph is y equals negative 2x squared. So I'll do that one in blue. All right, so again, I'm looking for my low point, although in this case, what's going to happen to my parabola? It's going to be flipped over, isn't it? So I'm actually finding the high point. At any rate, I want to find the point, the vertex. So that's going to be when x is 0. So if x is 0, y is still going to be 0 on this one, right? All right. So before I went out 1, up 1, but now I'm going to go out 1 and I'm going to go down by how many? Down by 2. Very good. Because of that negative 2 out in front. Before I went out to up 4, instead of up 4, now what do I have to do? Down by 8. Yes. I do negative 2 times 4, right? So it goes down by 8. So there is my graph of y equals negative 2x squared. If we decide to do the next one, if the thing that's being squared, the x, is 0, where's the y going to be on that one?
4.
At 4. So go ahead and graph the one that I just highlighted in green, negative 2x squared plus 4. All right, so any questions on that one? Did everybody end up with this? It looked like it as I was walking around. Okay. All right, so now, again, we want the thing that's being squared to equal 0. So what's going to make x minus 3 equal 0? If x is 3. And if x is 3, what's y going to be? 0. So now, which way am I moving? I'm actually going to the right now to a positive 3. Is it going to be the same shape, though? Yes, it is. I'm going to go out 1, down 2. I'm going to go out 2 and down 8. So now we're going to put it all together really quickly before the bell rings here. Okay, so now I want to make the thing that's being squared equal to 0. So what is going to make this equal 0? Negative 6. And if that is 0, what's y going to be? Negative 3. So that's my starting point. Negative 6, negative 3. Is there anything in front of that x squared? No. So this one's going to have the regular traditional shape, isn't it? If I go over 1, how much do I go up? 1. If I go over 2, I go up 4. If I go over 3, how much am I going to go up? 9. So you guys see how we can graph without even making a table? Yeah. All right. So we'll continue on with more of this tomorrow. So don't lose that graph paper because we're going to use it again. And the assignment's on the board. Any last minute questions? All right. That's it for today then.